Hello all, myself Parag Kamunkar. Today we'll be discussing about fuzzy systems, right? So today's lecture agenda we'll be starting with Russell's paradox, okay? Then we will discuss fuzzy sets and its properties of membership functions. Then we'll discuss why fuzzy systems are required, okay? So let's start off with Russell's paradox, okay? Imagine a town where there is only one barber shop with a single barber, right? So this is our assumption that in that town there is only one barber shop, and in that barber shop there is only one single barber, right? Then consider two sets, set 1 and set 2, okay? Set S1 will include all those men who shave themselves, and set S2 includes all those men who are shaved by barber. So for our simplicity, we will assume that a person from the town either shave himself or he is always shaved by barber, no half measures. Okay, because in real life this is possible that a person sometimes shave himself and sometimes are shaved by barber. But here we will assume that each person in the town either shave himself, and if so, we are going to put that person in set 1, and if he is being shaved by barber, then we are going to put it in set 2. Now you have been asked to create these two sets, so how will you go about it? You'll go to the town, you'll ask each person whether he shave himself. If he says yes, then you are going to put him in set S1, otherwise you are going to put him in set S2. Okay. So one can see over here there are no half measures. Either the person belongs to set 1 with full membership, or the person belongs to set 2 with full membership. If a person is member of set 1 S1, then his membership value in set 1 would be 1, right? Whereas his membership value in set 2 would be 0 because he is shaving himself, right? He is not shaved by barber. But if we come across a person who is always shaved by barber, then his membership value in set 2 would be 1, and his membership value in set 1 would be 0. So you can see we have got binary membership over here, right? Either the membership is full membership or no membership. A person either belongs to set 1 or set 2. If he belongs to set 1, his membership value is 1. Otherwise, his membership value is 0. Okay. But then a barber is also a person from the town, right? So where you are going to put the barber? Because if you ask barber whether he shave himself, yes. Whether he is shaved by barber? Yes, because he is a barber, right? So his membership value would be 0.5. So here what Russell's paradox comes. Okay, Russell was a mathematician. He introduced this paradox. Okay, and that's the problem with classical sets, right? In classical sets, the membership value is either full membership or no membership. Okay, whereas in real life, it is possible that a person may have partial membership. As you can see over here, in this scenario, the barber will have zero point 0.5 membership in set 1 and zero point 0.5 membership in set 2. So this is the inventor of fuzzy logic or fuzzy sets, you would say, Lofty Ezhade, in 1965. He coined this term called as fuzzy logic. He was working with University of California, right? Unfortunately, this person died in 2017, I guess. So he introduced the idea of fuzzy set or fuzzy logic. Okay, so let's discuss few more things related with fuzzy sets or and classical sets, right? Now one thing is there that every time you know that every set is based on some universe, right? Let's say if I'm talking about set of all voters in Maharashtra, right? So if I'm saying that set of all voters in Maharashtra, then the universal set would be all people from Maharashtra, and then I'm going to take only those people who are eligible to vote, right? So those would be the voters of Maharashtra. So let's say if I have got a set called as voters in Maharashtra, so this voter set is based on universal set, and that universal set would be Maharashtra, people living in Maharashtra, right? So let's take an example. Okay, let's say we have got set of all people whose height is from 5 feet to 7 feet. Now you can see that you can very easily identify whether a person belongs to this set or not. You simply measure his or her height, and if his or her height is in the range 5 feet to 7 feet, the person would be in person will be included in that set with full membership, right? With full membership. Whereas if person's height is less than 5 feet or greater than 7 feet, then the person won't belong to this set. Agreed? Perfect. So this is an example of a classical or a crisp set. Crisp means precise, right? Crisp means precise. Okay. So it is a simple example of that. A person would either belong to this set or won't belong to this set. So so we have got a binary membership, as you can see. Binary membership means 0 means no member and 1 means full member. Okay. Let's consider another example. Let's say we have got set of all tall people. Now, whom would you consider a tall person, right? If you are living in India, then possibly you will consider that 6 feet is tall, right? Whereas if you go to China, nowadays it is difficult to go to China, but if you are living in China, then in China 5 feet 5 inches would be even tall, right? And if you go to America or Australia, then a person with 6 feet 5 inches or 6 feet 6 inches would be considered as tall, and a person whose height is 6 feet may not be considered as tall. Okay, because the average height differs from region to region. Okay, in fact, I can give you an example. Like in East Africa, there are uh, what I would say, two regions, Rwanda and Burundi. Okay, where a person whose height is 6 feet is considered as small person, right? Their average height happens to be 7 feet. Okay, so definition of tall differs from person to person or region to region, I would say. So you see, this is a fuzzy term. The tall is a fuzzy term, right? So it is an example of a fuzzy set. Okay, we'll see several examples of fuzzy set. Don't worry. So what happens that the membership value is in a real closed interval 0 to 1. Let me give you an example. Okay, let's consider that a person whose height is 6 feet is considered as tall, right? Now, won't you consider a person as tall if his height is 5 feet 11 inches? Very close to 6. Yes, of course, he is not as tall as a person whose height is 6 feet. But if a person's height is 5 feet 11 inches, he is still considered as tall, right? And what about 5 feet 10 inches? He is also considered as tall. Not as tall as the person whose height is 5 feet 11 inches. But yes, certainly 5 feet 10 inches is also tall, right? So what happens is, like, there is no crisp boundary, right? If the person's height is say 6 feet and that person's membership value is say 1, okay, means that person is indeed tall. But if a person's height is 5 feet 11 inches, he will still be considered as tall, but not as tall as 6. Okay. So what happens is the membership value is not binary, right? The membership value ranges from 0 to 1. So what I would say that possibly if a person's height is 6 feet, I'll say that his membership value is 1. If a person's height is 5 feet 11 inches, I'll possibly say that yes, his membership value is 0.9, 0.9, right? And on a similar note, I can even say that a person whose height is 6 feet 1 inch is also considered as tall, but not as tall as 6, because now the person's height is even more than that. So possibly he is going towards very tall category, right? He is going towards very tall category. So then again, I will reduce the membership of this person and I'll say that his membership value is also 0.9. A person whose height is say 5 feet 10 inches or 6 feet 2 inches, I will still say that he is having membership 0.8. And likewise, what I'll do is I can keep on decreasing the membership on either ends. Okay. Few other examples of fuzzy sets can be given, like set of all intelligent people. Now, whom would you consider as intelligent? A person who is topper. Possibly, if a person whose percentage is say 95%, he will consider as intelligent. 85% is also considered as intelligent. There is no crisp boundary. There is no certain percentage where you can say that now this person is not intelligent. Okay. What we will say that we will keep on saying that the person is intelligent with little bit by reducing the authority through which we are saying that the person is intelligent, right? If a person is having 60 percentage, then again we will say that the person is intelligent. Possibly depends on what kind of taste he or she has given. Then another example can be given as set of all honest people, right? Now, whom would you consider as honest? Set of all good people, set of all bad people, set of all obedient people. Do you consider yourself as obedient? Do you consider yourself in this category of set of obedient people? Yes, most of the times we are obedient, but most sometimes we are not, right? So we cannot say that I am 100% obedient. Okay. Or beautiful, the definition of beautiful differs from person to person, right? So whom would you consider as beautiful person, right? So that's again a fuzzy term. So all, whenever we have got these fuzzy terms like intelligent, honest, good, bad, obedient, and beautiful, and etc., these are the fuzzy terms, right? So here we take example, here we make use of fuzzy set. So let's consider this aspect now. Let's say we are talking about the same set of all people whose height is in the range 5 feet to 7 feet. So you can see that I have given full membership 1. Those whose height is in the range 5 feet to 7 feet, they are considered as tall. Whereas all those people whose height is less than 5 feet or greater than 7 feet, I have given a 0 membership, right? So it's a binary kind of thing. Either I give full membership, as you can see over here, or I can give no membership, 0. Now let's consider the set of tall people. This diagram is denoted for tall people. As I explained earlier, the person whose height is 6 feet, precisely 6 feet, will be considered as tall, so his membership value will be 1. But if a person whose height is say 5 feet 10 inches or 6 foot 2 inches, then I'll keep on reducing the membership, right? I'll keep on reducing. Possibly if a person's height is less than 5 feet, I'll not say he's tall, he's small, possibly, right? And if a person's height is more than 7 feet, I will still not say he's tall, I'll say he's very tall, right? So he'll not be in the set of tall people, he will be in the set of very tall people when the person's height goes beyond 7 feet. If a person's height is less than 5 feet, then I'll possibly say that a person belongs to the set of small people, right? Set of small. I hope you have understood that in case of crisp sets, it is a binary kind of thing, whereas it is here it is ranging from 0 to 1, right? 0 to 1. So that's what I just explained, right? This chi is a membership function. So membership value of certain element x in the universe for this set A is 1 or 0. If the person, if that element is part of the set, we will give full membership. If the element is not part of the set, we will give 0 membership, right? Whereas in case of fuzzy set, so mu is the membership function symbol I will use. For crisp sets, we have used chi symbol. So here we are using mu, right? And there we have got x is the element of the universe, and we are talking about the membership value of x in this fuzzy set A, and we say that it is ranging from 0 to 1. It is ranging from 0 to 1. So let's see an example. Okay. So let's see how what are the terminologies used to denote fuzzy sets, representation of fuzzy sets. So let's say I have got a universe with 5 elements, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have got only 5 elements in this universe, and these are the two fuzzy sets defined. This is A and the next one is B. Okay, so let's see this carefully. What you see, so this is a set symbol as usual, and in the denominator I typically write the elements of the universe. In the denominator I write elements of the universe. Now you can see that I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here I have written 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have not written 1. Why I have not written 1, I'll explain. If you take set B, same story. In the denominator, we typically write the elements of the universe. Unfortunately, here as well, we have not included 1. Okay. Now, in the numerator, what we do is, in the numerator, we write the membership value of that element in the set. So, membership value of element 2 of the universe is 1 in set A. Membership value of element 3 of the universe is 0.5 in set A. Membership value of element 4 of the universe is having 0.3. Likewise for 5 it is 0.2. And on similar note for set B, I have defined these are the membership values. You can, as I have already told you, that element membership value can range from 0 to 1. So you can see we have got these fractional terms. Now why I have not included 1? Because possibly the membership value, or rather the membership value of 1 in set A happens to be 0. And since there is no membership, I have not included, I have not shown that element. I could have very easily written 0 upon 1 as a first element, 0 upon 1 plus. Now these are not fractions, mind you, and we are not going to perform any kind of mathematics over here. We are not going to add nothing. Denominator denotes elements of the universe, numerator denotes membership value of those elements in that fuzzy set. Okay, and in case if certain elements membership is 0, we may not write that. We may write, we may not write. Here they have not written it. Okay. On a similar note, for set B, the membership value of element 1 happens to be 0, so I have not written. For 2 it is 0.5, for 3 it is 0.7, for 4 it is 0.2, and for 5 it is 0.4. Okay, great. Right. So now when this mathematician Lofty A. Zadeh came up with the idea of fuzzy set, many mathematicians said that it is simply a kind of probability or a chance kind of thing. So let me give you an example why it is not kind of a percentage kind of thing. A percent is something different and fuzzy membership value is something different. So let's take an example. Suppose you are seated at a table on which rest two glasses of liquid. You don't know what kind of liquid is there in that glass. Okay, there are two glasses, each glass has a liquid in it. The liquid in the first glass is described to you as having 95% chance of being healthy and good. Okay, whereas the liquid in the second glass is described as having a 0.95 membership in the class of healthy and good liquids. Okay, so you can see in the first case, they are saying that there is a 95% chance that the liquid in the first glass is healthy and good. This means that there is a 5% chance that the liquid may not be healthy and good, and it may even be a poison. But if you take another example, second glass example, the liquid in the second glass is described as having a 0.95 membership in the class of healthy and good liquids. 0.95. Will you consider poison is having a 0.95 membership in the class of healthy and good liquid? Certainly not, right? Because poison will have a 0 membership in a class of healthy and good liquids. Yes, 0.95 possibly it's certainly healthy and good liquid, right? Now some of you would wonder that how come the membership value is not 1 and why it is 0.95. You see, depending upon how much liquid, what kind of liquid it is and how much liquid you consume, based on that you will decide whether the liquid is healthy or and good or not. Take an example of wine, right? Sometimes doctor prescribe you to take wine, right? But then again it depends on the frequency with which you consume wine and how much wine you consume. Based on that it will be decided whether wine would be good and healthy for your health or not, right? So that's the reason you may not have full membership. Sometimes you have got 0.95 membership value in the class of healthy and good liquids. So of course, which class you would select, right? Certainly you will select the second one, right? Because there's a very certainly the second class does not have poison in it. Okay, whereas in the first class there is a possibility, 5% possibility that the liquid in the first glass is having poison in it, right? Because means 95% chance means what? 100 times if you do the experiment, 95 on the 95% of the occasions, what happens that the liquid is healthy and good, but there are 5% chances that the liquid may not be healthy and good, and it may even be a poison. So first, you will not take this first glass, you will possibly select the second glass. Yeah, so now let's consider some operations on fuzzy sets. We have taken the same fuzzy sets which we have described earlier, right? So there are few operations which we have defined. One is a complement operation. So what is complement? So let's take a bar. complement of this set A. What we do is we write all the elements of the universe in the denominator, okay, as you can see over here. And then what we do is we take the membership value of that element in the universe, and we will take 1 and we'll subtract that value, 1 minus membership value. That's what we will do. So what is the membership value of 1 in set A? It was 0, right? That's the reason we have not written it. So 1 minus 0, so that's 1. 1 minus 0 is 1. Then what is the membership value of 2 in A? It is 1, right? So here it is 1 minus 1, so that would be 0. Right? Now here they have shown a member with a membership value 0, right? What is the membership value of 3? 0.5. So 1 minus 0.5, 0.5. 1 minus 0.3, right? 1 minus 0.3 is 0.7. And 1 minus 0.2 is 0.8. Likewise, we have considered B bar. Membership value of 1 is 1, 2 is 0.5 because this is also 0.5. 1 minus 0.5 is 0.5. 1 minus 0.7 is 0.3. 1 minus 0.2 is 0.8, and 1 minus 0.4 is 0.6. Okay, good. Now so that was about complement. You simply take 1 and subtract the membership value of that element, write it over here. In the denominator you always write the elements of the universe. In the numerator you always write the membership values. When you take union of two sets, what we do is we take the max membership. So union means max, right? Union means max. So again you can see what is the membership value of 1 in A? 0. What is the membership value of 1 in B? 0. 0, 0, max is 0. So we have not written that over here. What is the membership value of 2 in A? It is 1, right? What is the membership value of 2 in B? 0.5. What is the maximum? 1 and 0.5, the max is 1. Likewise for 3 it is 0.5, this is 0.7, so we have taken the max membership 0.7. For 4 this is 0.3, this is 0.2, so this would be maximum is 0.3. For 5 it is 0.2, 0.4, so it is 0.4. So for union you always take the max membership, okay. For intersection you take the minimum membership, okay. So we'll not get into the details of that. I hope it is clearly visible to you that membership value would be minimum, okay. Instead of taking max membership you will take min membership. So two things you have to remember: union means max, intersection means minimum, okay. Now difference operation, difference A minus B or A oblique B. So it is nothing. A minus B means what? Something which is in A and not in B, okay. Something which is in A and not in B means it is in the complement. It is in the complement. So as you can see over, it is shown in the complement. So what we do is we take A, which is shown over here, and then we take B bar, which is shown over here, and we take intersection, right? We take intersection. What is the intersection? Intersection means minimum. So let's take as a random example. Let's say I'm talking about 4. What is the membership value of 4 in A? 0.3. What is the membership value of 4 in B bar? 0.8. We are taking A intersection B bar. So what we have done is we have taken 0.3 minimum membership. Okay. Likewise, B minus A is also shown over here. You can later on very easily verify this. Yeah, so these are the operations on fuzzy sets. One is the union operation. You take max membership, so this the shaded area denotes your union, whereas over here we have got intersection, so minimum membership. So this is the area which is shown over here. Okay. Now De Morgan's principles hold for fuzzy sets, right? A intersection whole bar is A bar union B bar. Similarly, A union B whole bar is nothing but A bar intersection B bar. You can cross verify yourself that these two equations hold for fuzzy sets. Okay. Now, excluded middle axioms, something like excluded middle axioms does not hold for fuzzy sets. Okay. As you can see over here, what do you mean by excluded middle axioms? You take A and you take complement of A and then take their union. So let's say if this is your A, right? This portion is your A. Then what is your A bar? A bar would be exactly opposite of A. And if you take their union, what we will get is a straight line. and this is nothing but universe, because universe has got all membership values 1 in it. Okay, whereas if you take their intersection, so intersection is shown, so this would be the intersection, so it would be 5. So excluded middle axioms hold for crisp sets, okay, but it does not hold for fuzzy sets. Okay, so let's consider a fuzzy set exam. So you can see that A union A bar is not equal to universe in case of fuzzy sets. A intersection A bar is not equal to phi in case of fuzzy. And diagrammatically they have explained. If this triangle is your A, that is fuzzy set, then this dotted line shows A bar. Right? Dotted line shows A bar. Dotted line shows A bar. So what would be the union? Union would be this shaded portion W, and intersection would be this darkened portion like M. Okay, so that would be the intersection. So you can see here clearly it is not X means universe. Here also it is not phi, right? Because we have got some non-zero membership values. Yeah. Now we come to the membership function of properties of membership function. We have got core, then we have got support, we have got boundaries, right? Now you can see core means what? Core means all those whose membership value is 1. All those elements of the universe whose membership value is 1. So that's core portion. Support is all those elements whose membership value is non-zero, right? Non-zero. Boundary is all those elements whose membership value is in between 0 to 1. Neither 0 nor 1, but in between 0 to 1. So these are the boundaries, right? So let's see this. So core means all the elements of the universe whose membership value is 1. Okay. Support is all the elements of the universe whose membership value is greater than 0, and of course less than or equal to 1. Okay, support, right? Greater than 0 and less than or equal to 1. Then boundaries is all the elements of the universe whose membership value is greater than 0 and less than 1. So you see neither 0 nor 1, it is in between 0 and 1. So that is your boundaries. And crossover points, so that part was not there in the slide, in that diagram. So crossover points means all the elements of the universe whose membership value is 0.5. Okay, whose membership value is what? 0.5. Now here we come across types of fuzzy sets. We have got normal and subnormal. So this is normal fuzzy set. Normal fuzzy set is one whose membership value is a normal fuzzy set is one in which there is at least one element of the universe, whose membership value is 1. Whereas a subnormal fuzzy set is shown over here. In the subnormal fuzzy set, none of the elements of the universe have got membership value 1. All the elements will have a membership value less than 1. Okay. Yeah. So the height of the fuzzy set is the maximum value of a membership function. If height of fuzzy set is less than 1, then the fuzzy set is said to be subnormal fuzzy set. Okay. And if A is a convex single point normal fuzzy set defined on the real line, then A is often termed as a fuzzy number. Okay, so these are the things related with height of the fuzzy set. If height is less than 1, then the fuzzy set is subnormal. If height is 1, then of course the fuzzy set is a normal fuzzy set. And if A is a convex single point normal fuzzy set defined on the real line, then A is often termed as a fuzzy number. Okay. So let's quickly go through a fuzzy system workflow. Typically, this is what the fuzzy system workflow is. We have got a crisp input, means the precise input. We fuzzify it. Fuzzify means you convert a crisp quantity into a fuzzy quantity. Okay. Then we input it to a fuzzy system involving one or more fuzzy sets, and eventually we defuzzify. Defuzzify means exactly opposite. We have got a fuzzy term, we are going to convert that fuzzy term into a crisp value. Okay, fuzzification means what? Converting a crisp value into a fuzzy value, right? And defuzzification means converting a fuzzy value into a crisp value. So let's take an example. Auto wiper system, for example. We know that some high-end cars have got auto wiper system. So rainfall in millimeters is your crisp input. Based on the rainfall, we will convert that rainfall in millimeters into a fuzzified value. Fuzzified value means what? We will decide whether the rainfall is very high or very low, and based on that we will fuzzify. So you see, we have got a crisp input in millimeters. We are converting it to a fuzzy term, right? Whether the uh, rain is high or rain is low, okay, and then we input it to a fuzzy system involving one or more fuzzy sets. Eventually you defuzzify. So you decide, defuzzify means based on this you decide what should be the speed of the wiper, whether it should be low, medium or high, and that low, medium, high can't be understood by the machine. So we will be converting it to the actual speed of the wiper, okay. So you see, again we have converted into a crisp output. So rainfall was a crisp input. We fuzzified it, inputted to a fuzzy system will defuzzify means you will get it like mm, what should be the speed of the wiper, low, medium, high, and based on that you will actually select the speed of the wiper, okay. So that's what we have. So why fuzzy systems? Fuzzy systems are useful in at least two contexts. One is in situations involving highly complex systems whose behaviors are not well understood, and in situations where an approximate but fast solution is required, okay. So these are the two contexts wherein we will be using fuzzy systems, okay. Thank you very much. In case if you have any doubts, you can ask.